Shalom, shalom, mishpalcha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. Today, I will not be talking about what would Jesus do, but instead, I'm going to be talking about doing what Yeshua did. I know that in the 90s that there was this huge fad and everybody was wearing the bracelets, and I'm not trying to knock the movement because it was very noble, where people would ask, what would Jesus do before they do something? But as a Torah believer, as a Nazarene Jew, I don't have to ask, what would Jesus do? I instead make the statement, do what Yeshua did. I don't have to ask, what would Jesus do? Because I know what he would do. What would he do? He would follow the Torah. He would obey the Torah. He would apply the Torah to whatever situation he's facing in life. So instead, do what Yeshua did. What did Yeshua do? He ate kosherly. What did Yeshua do? He was circumcised the 8th day. What did Yeshua do? As was his custom, he went to the synagogue every Sabbath. What would Yeshua do? Or do what Yeshua did. What did he do? He wore tzitzit because the one with the issue of blood came and touched the tzitzit of his garment, the hem of his garment, and was healed. So he followed the Torah. So I don't have to ask, what would Jesus do? I instead do what Yeshua did. Now let's read Matthew chapter 5, verse 17. Yeshua Moshienu said himself, think not. He said, don't even let the thought cross your mind. Think not that I've come to destroy the Torah, the law, or the prophets, because back then, that's the only scriptures they had. It's called the Tanakh, the Torah, T for Torah, N is Nevi'im, meaning prophets, and K, Ketuvim, which is the writings, which is things such as the Psalms, the Proverbs. So all they had was the Tanakh, and basically Yeshua said, don't think I've come to destroy the Tanakh, the Torah, or the prophets. I've not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Now this word fulfill does not mean that he did it for us so we don't have to do it. Fulfill means, it doesn't mean like filling up a glass and you can't fill it up anymore, so there's nothing left to be done. This word fulfill in the Greek and in the Hebrew means to bring something into its full and complete meaning. In other words, Yeshua came to show us how to live and how to walk the Torah. We live the Torah, we walk the Torah, we obey the Torah by walking in the footsteps of Yeshua HaMashiach. The way he did, we follow his halakha, or his way of keeping the Torah. Verse 19, whosoever shall break one of the least commandments. Now in Judaism, the rabbis have come to a decision on what the least commandment is, and the least commandment is not disturbing a bird's nest. Especially when there's, a mother laying on the eggs, we're to shoo the mother away and then take the eggs, instead of, just taking the eggs while the mother's there. So that's the least of the commandments. Whosoever shall break one of the least of the commandments and teach men to do so. It's okay if you have a ham sandwich. It's okay. You don't have to wear those little string thingies the Jews wear. You don't have to do this, that, or the other that the Torah says because the law has been done away with. Jesus nailed it to the cross. Whosoever shall break one of the least of these commandments and teach men to do so shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Doesn't mean that he's going to be booted out of heaven or kicked out of heaven per se, but that he will be least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, teach the least of the commandments. You know what? It's just as important to love your neighbor as yourself as it is to not to disturb a bird's nest. Whoever shall do and teach them the least of the commandments, same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the scribe and the Pharisees. In other words, don't just keep the Torah outwardly, but you have to keep it inwardly, and then it has to manifest outwardly. A lot of times the Pharisees were guilty of just going through the motions and saying, oh, okay, there's my check mark. I did my mitzvah for today. I kept and followed the Torah. But in their hearts, they didn't mean it. In their heart wasn't in it. So it says, for I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribe and Pharisees, ye shall wise in no case enter the kingdom of heaven. And I'm reminded of another passage. I don't have it right with me, but I think I can quote it, where it says, many in that day will come to me and say, Lord, Lord, didn't we cast out demons in your name and do this and that and the other? And he'll say, depart from me, you workers of iniquity, for I never knew you. That word iniquity in the Hebrew and the Greek means lawless one or Torahless one. In other words, people say, well, Lord, Lord, we casted out demons in your name, we did all these great things. And he says, depart from me, those who did not keep the Torah, for I never knew you. I was never intimate with you. So, keeping the Torah and following the Torah is very important, because in Judaism it's seen as a marriage contract, a marriage covenant. Do I get up early in the morning and go to work because, I want to? No, I would rather sleep in, but I do it because I love my wife. I promise to take care of my wife and my children, and getting up early in the morning, whether I like it or not, is one of those things. Now, my wife, some women like massages, some women like foot rubs. My wife likes to have her back tickled. Do I tickle her back because, oh boy, I just can't wait to do it? No, it's not my favorite thing in the world to do, but I do it because I love my wife and I honor my wife. So sometimes, these commandments that we keep, our flesh doesn't want to do them, but why do we do them? Because we love God. He says, if you love me, Yeshua says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. Now, who is Yeshua? John 17 said that Yeshua and God the Father are one. So God's laws are no different from Yeshua's laws. They're one and the same. So God gave us the Torah, Yeshua showed us how to live the Torah. So he said, if you love me, you'll keep the Torah. Plain and simple. It's ridiculous to think that Yeshua would come and say, hey guys, all the laws that my dad told you to keep, the Torah? Forget about it. Toss them out. I'm the new sheriff in town here. It's a new ball game. You do what I say. I'm going to make you some new commandments. Don't worry about all this other stuff. No. Chas v'shalom. God forbid that ever happen. That's ridiculous. No, a son cannot assert authority over the father. And in the same way, Yeshua and the Father are one anyway, so he gave the same commandments as the Father did. So, and by the way, there's another verse that says that, people say, well, Jesus nailed the law to the cross. No, he didn't. If you read the verse correctly, it says he nailed the penalty of the law to the cross. What is the penalty of the law? Death. He died for us. For those commandments that deserve death, he died in our place. He took the blame for us. We no longer have to be stoned anymore for, breaking certain commandments. He took those upon himself. That's what that verse is talking about. So, anyways, hopefully, this cleared it up. So next time when you come into a situation you don't know what to do, don't ask, what would Jesus do? Simply do what Yeshua did. Shalom and Shavua Tov Mishpocha.